So we have a kind of a short outline for today.
Yeah, Travis has a conflict, so we shouldn't be waiting for him.
Okay, then let's start. So Paul actually started creating a pull request for monitoring within the SSH orchestrator, which is really great. It's on my to-do list for reviewing. But yeah, I'm delighted to have that already. Yeah, please have a look. Then Joshua made that extended drive group pull request for SSH.
Right. Right.
Awesome.
So yeah, the only noteworthy change is that you can have multiple drive groups, and therefore you should name them also for understanding and describing what the drive group actually does, and naming is probably a good idea. So yeah, I added the dashboard people to have a look at this because the initial implementation from the dashboard people does not respect the fact that you can or you have to give your drive group a name, and that drive groups can also appear in multiples and not only in singles. So yeah.
Yeah, this is a thing we haven't had on the list till this pull request.
Yeah, I posted it back in the days when people merged this drive group support in the dashboard. That when I am finally coming around to make the change to actually support drive groups, we will have to revisit this, and so they are aware.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's it for the pure SSH orchestrator. Is there any big topic missing regarding the SSH orchestrator? We concluded that we will make the SSH orchestrator declarative internally. Last week, there is just no way we can probably schedule things in a good way without having a declarative. Anything I'm missing for the SSH orchestrator? Okay, Sebastian, you had a problem with LVM for
Yes.
Ceph volume.
Yeah.
And that directly affects the SSH.
I don't think I'm the only one, but I got. No, go ahead.
That directly affects the orchestrator because it affects how we are creating OSDs from the dashboard. It affects how we are creating OSDs from the CLI, and it affects how we want to deal with it from within the data structures of the orchestrator.
You're talking about route uplifts or?
Yeah.
Causing more trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any idea how you want to modify the UI, the dashboard UI?
I don't care if the UI supports it at all. I don't think it needs to. The UI can just drive the LVM one. I think that's fine with me. At least for now. We can always change it later.
Yeah.
I mean, we could even take this and we could just, on the systemd thing, Sebastian, for example, we could just take this, remove the systemd support entirely from this So that it's like really just since the container version doesn't need it, you can always add it later if somebody wants to try to do this on a non-containerized workload.
I think some people will.
Probably, yeah. But
Yeah, because I got a few like direct emails about
Yeah.
that thread saying like, yeah, I'm with you on this one. Then I'm like, yeah, if you're with me, just like say it. Don't send me a direct email. Like,
yeah.
by,
People fear the wrath of Alfredo. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did we conclude on having some kind of a raw mod for Ceph volume, or did we conclude on having some kind of wrapper to deactivate LVs?
I basically separated those two things because they're two different problems. At least the way I read the situation, the problem Sebastian's up against is that LVM and EVS don't cooperate. And so by not using LVM at all, then that's fine. But he doesn't need a wrapper if we don't use LVM. So,
Okay.
But I think we do need a wrapper for Ceph daemon.
Yes.
So that when the unit starts up, it can then set up the DM crypt volume and then start the OSD. And then when it stops the container, it'll tear it all down again.
I remember that Rook had a problem that LVs were not activated when OSDs were getting started.
Yeah.
So I think we will end up with
Wrapper
a
might be
similar
the best
problem
one.
if we are not using a wrapper, right?
Yeah. I think the wrapper.
No, because we have an init container that actually activates the BG before starting the OSD. So we already worked
Exactly.
around that. But it would be nice to have it in Ceph volume.
Yeah, we are not going to have any init containers in Ceph daemon.
Right.
Or
yeah, that's right.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is
No,
it
There's
even a
the
thing?
deploy command that creates the varlib Ceph directory, which is sort of the equivalent of the init container, but it happens once. Doesn't happen every time after the node is rebooted, so it's only for writing out the files.
Exactly.
I mean, like if you go back to my original email, I separated the prepare and activate use cases where prepare should also deactivate once it's done, and activate should also activate the BG before it does anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so for Sebastian, for your thing, for Raw Blue Store, I think the last question is, should I fix the systemd unit? Even though you don't need it.
Well, currently we don't need it. So we can go with a really opinionated thing, which sounds good to me. And if anybody wants to add anything else, then they can. But for now, we can. We don't need the. I mean,
I think the only thing is that I want to make, if Rook is going to do this, it should pass without systemd, because if we add it later, then it needs to not do systemd. So it probably needs to be there. Just
okay. So let's just keep it there, and then also it remains consistent with what we have.
The other thing is, Jan was asking if we want this to merge sooner rather than later, because I think he has some other code refactoring something in front of it. But if the plan here is to backport it for OCS, is that correct?
Yeah, but it's too late for OCS already. So the newer clusters. Yeah. Potentially,
okay.
Yes. Most likely, actually, yeah, because 4.3 is going to be based on 1.2. So yeah.
Okay. So we might want to get this in sooner rather than later. I'll look at the systemd unit thing today. Hopefully it'll be pretty simple.
Yeah, because we can pass the flag, but just a no up for us, anyways.
Yeah.
You don't need to have it working, I guess. You just need to have the flag, and we pass it, but it's just no up. Anyways, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. And these LVM-less, these OSDs without LVM will behave exactly the same like the LVM containers, like the LVM OSDs with less features?
Yeah, you
No,
can't have
it's
separate
the
wall and
same.
DB. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
can't resize them. You can't do de-encrypt. That's basically it. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Because we are already done with the agenda for today.
We're done with what for the day?
The agenda?
So agenda.
Oh,
Sorry,
with the agenda.
agenda.
Okay. Yeah, because I missed the beginning. What else? I have a couple things. Oh, I was starting to do the reconfig, and then I realized I want to make it behave. Well, if I made the changes I thought I was going to make, it would collide with Paul's monitoring thing. So I think we should just let Paul merge his thing first, get that working, and then we can clean up and refactor or whatever to make the reconfig work. And then let's see. Oh, the unit test for adoption. I think that still needs to be fixed so that the test passes. Or maybe we can just comment out the ones that don't pass yet so we can merge it. Not sure how far away that is. And then the last thing was I remove OSDs. I had that like 4-line patch that was basically just cut and pasting your suggestions, Sebastian. Maybe that should just get adopted by whoever's doing. There's another one that fixes it to use drive groups, and I think there's another orchestrator pull request fixing OSDs.
Fixing, supporting removing OCs from the UI, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I can ask Kiefer to put that in his pull request.
Yeah, or if you want to take it over, since you wrote the code, actually, I just don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the completion stuff very well. Oh, the last thing was I was trying to work on the upgrade stuff. But again, the completion stuff just made me confused because I'm in the serve thread, and so I do some stuff that triggers some asynchronous work. But I don't return there's nothing to return because there's no caller. So I think the orchestrator.py callers all wait on the completion. And so I'm not sure quite what I should be doing in the SSH module and the serve thread if I want to wait block.
You want to wait blocking?
Yeah, because it's the background thread that's actually it's in a loop doing the upgrade. And so it triggers all these asynchronous events.
Do we want to support concurrency in the SSH orchestrator, like doing having a long running thing like deploying many OSDs and
so.
concurrently doing a host LS?
I think so. I think we should have a big fat work queue so we can deploy lots of OSDs. That would be my preference.
Then we shouldn't block.
Yeah, but this is the serve. Yeah, I didn't care. I don't care if it blocked. Actually, I originally thought it wasn't going to block at all. So I just like started the events and then I looped and slept, but nothing would lead to completion. Like the then didn't run.
And it's in the upgrade check command?
This is in the serve loop, so I can push my code so you can take a look at it.
Yeah. Let me have a look. I guess we can figure things out pretty quickly.
Yeah. The other thing also is that hopefully the Python 3 change will happen in the next week or so. I'm kind of pushing on them to merge it, even though all the packages aren't upstream yet, in which case we can switch to the await syntax here, hopefully sooner rather than later. That'll help things, I think.
Yeah.
But
speaking about upgrades, I did an upgrade today from Nautilus to Octopus in Rook, and I've noticed a different message when it comes to Blue Store OSDs with OMAP usage stats. I thought it was fixed. Maybe the conversion is not happening yet. Can you look at the comment I passed? This stage in the chat.
Yeah, let me look. Might need Igor to look at this. Oh yeah, there's a new thing. Yep.
So it's a new one, yeah. So
it's a new one. So you can, again, there's an option that we can set to turn that off.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
But there isn't an automatic conversion for OMAP because it might be big. Like it might be the whole OSD has OMAP data and actually has to rewrite all the keys in RocksDB. So.
Okay. But then I think it's nice if the user knows that it's there. So I don't really want to silence the message.
Yeah.
So we would just leave it this way and maybe document it and just redirect to. I saw your doc on the Ceph doc, anyways.
Yeah.
But okay, we can't really do that conversion. So okay.
Yeah, I mean it's just annoying because the only way, I mean, basically each OSD needs to be stopped and run fscheck on it. So, and Rook doesn't know how to do that, so the person has to go like manually do something super annoying, right? To update the
yeah,
OSD.
but like, is it fine automating this?
I think so, as long as Rook is doing it kind of like an upgrade where it does it one OSD at a time and it makes sure that the OSD is safe to stop and all that stuff.
Okay.
But it's kind of like maybe a somewhat disruptive thing. I mean, it could do it as part of the upgrade, I guess. That might make sense. I mean, that might actually make sense. Maybe when it upgrades each OSD, if it knows it's doing a major upgrade, it could just actually run fscheck on it. But it has to do an fscheck repair. Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a mess right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the right thing is.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of effort automating this, I guess.
Yeah. Let me talk to Igor and see what he thinks.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay. I guess that's it.
Okay. I think so.
Cool. So just for the wrapper, is that something we're still gonna do, Sage?
I think we should.
I know you divided it, but yeah, I think I was just I think it's we need it.
We need it.
But
we need it for the Ceph daemon, I think. So I can talk to I'll talk to Jan on IRC about it.
Okay, because this one is a little bit more complex with the signal handling and everything. So.
Well, it doesn't need to do the signal.
Oh yeah, it doesn't need to. Yeah, it's different.
It doesn't need to be super clever. Well, it does. If it gets a signal, it needs to.
No,
kill
it does
the
because
and then,
it's the post action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just too bad that we cannot like have this hook when the OSD exits. Really, because like I think it's only an issue for OpenShift at this point. Maybe because not now because the pods are running privileged, so it's not a problem. And upstream, I think we can solve this. Like if you I know you drop privileges, but somehow I don't know. Like if you regain privileges, like you exec with a different user, maybe I don't know. I mean, you could exec using root, because you already root actually from within that container. So this could work, I think.
I mean, it could just not drop privileges, basically. Then it would work, for example.
Also,
because But then as like, Linux stuff would break. I don't know. It'd be kind of a mess.
Not in the container.
A wrapper is. I think that the underlying issue is that it isn't safe because, say, the very, very first thing that the process does when it starts up is install the signal handler. It's still not an atomic operation, so it's possible that the OSD is slow to start, the signal handler doesn't get installed, and the cleanup operation doesn't run.
But by the time the handler is set up, I guess your OSD has been running for like a few seconds already, right? So
in this case, yeah, right.
Should be okay.
But if you kill it before that, then the cleanup doesn't happen. It's just the wrong layer, basically. There really should be a wrapper doing it.
Yeah,
But we
it's
need a
just
wrapper
that
anyway.
well, we don't need it if we have that post action.
We
Because
do
the only thing we
for
need with the
Ceph
wrapper
daemon.
is you do.
We don't need it, but
Can you just run a pre-command, like a pre-start with systemd, then run the OSD process but I mean, why do you need the post action if you have systemd, by the way?
It's just we don't really. What we do need is, I think the systemd unit, not the systemd unit, but the container, when it shuts down, should clean up. And it needs to it needs to do the initialization, which it doesn't do right now, and it needs to do the cleanup, which it should do the cleanup, I think, just to be cleaner.
From the inside, you mean? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to happen inside the container or outside the container. I don't know if it really matters. But I think that's the right thing to do. So I think the wrapper makes sense anyway for the SSH orchestrator. We could kind of work around it to not do that, because in reality, what the container runs is a bash script. Actually, that's not true. The systemd unit runs a bash script which runs Docker. So yeah, we do need a wrapper for subdaemon. Anyway,
so because how many commands do you run?
Well, it's right now it doesn't work at all with the encrypt unless you don't reboot. So I mean, it's just broken right now.
But what do you need to execute?
It needs to do the Ceph daemon activate, or not the Ceph volume activate, which sets up all the crypto device sets up the encrypt.
Yeah. But what do you need post like?
It doesn't need to do anything, but I think it should just clean up after itself, so that if you stop the container, the decrypted volume is no longer mapped. Seems like the right thing to do.
Okay, I might have.
Also, if you like I was replacing a bunch of drives in my cluster, and I yanked a drive that had been dead for 1 million years, and I put a new one in, and Ceph volume deploy was failing, and it's because there was just old stuff that was still mounted off that dead drive from ages ago. It's just, if you stop the daemon, it should tear everything down. Anything that it sets up, Ceph volume should clean up, so that you don't have to go manually clean things up, like undoing the crypto de-encrypting device.
But that's in the case of let's say ungraceful shutdown, because if the signal comes from systemd, but if the signal comes from systemd, then you can do this as a post action.
Yeah, but for Ceph daemon, the systemd unit is generic. It's not an OSD specific It's not an OSD systemd unit. It's just a Ceph system unit, and all it does is it always runs a bash script in a container. It runs a bash script in the container thing, and that runs Docker. Right, so I guess that actually could do. For the OSD one, it could customize that one script to do a bunch of cleanup stuff, but it would have to do signal handling. And
no, because systemd does it. Systemd does it. That's the thing. You can pre-start and post stop.
Right, but
when you pre-start, you do activate.
But there isn't a different systemd unit for OSDs compared to other daemons. That's the thing. There's a generic systemd unit that's installed once. It's the same for every type of Ceph daemon for the cluster.
Yeah.
So there is no pre-start. I mean, there is a pre-start that deletes the container before you start a new one. But there isn't. It's not customized per daemon. So we can't really run any Ceph volume type stuff from there.
Oh, okay. But if we had a specific Ceph OSD unit, then we could.
Yeah, but that's just not the way that it works. It's written so that there's only one unit per cluster.
Paul did run into the same, or into a similar problem where he wanted to have a dedicated systemd unit for the Prometheus deployment.
Yeah. But I think he did that just because he didn't know that he shouldn't. I don't think he actually needs one.
anyway.
Because like, can you just think about this a bit more? Because the signal handling thing is like not so difficult to do, but it's just like over engineering when you get all the logic from systemd. Like, for example, in the rook case, I need to have something that handles the signal because I don't have any systemd unit, and I can't do any post stop actions. But since you have systemd there, then you can already do it. It's probably better to do it with systemd.
Yeah. You know what we could do is make the systemd unit run a post script in the daemon directory. So right now there's a bash script, that's the thing that it runs, and then we could just put a post one there also. That's normally a no-op, but could be the cleanup step. That would do it.
Yeah. Like, and you can put anything you want. Like people could also like put other stuff to like add any scripts or whatever. So it's just a hook, and they just.
I wonder if then what we really need is a Ceph volume LVM deactivate, which is just the opposite of activate. That just tears down.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be as a wrapper. Yeah. Yep.
It's much simpler too, and no wrapper for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And that's easier.
Yeah.
And less controversial. Yeah. And less.
Also.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that's it for me.
Perfect. Then, last chance.
Have a good day.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good day.
Good one.
Have a good week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.